Hello, everybody. Welcome. Bringing in the energy for the day, for the reading. I'm not quite sure what I'm bringing up, but I'm definitely feeling like there's some type of kind of mystery that needs to be uncovered. That's what I'm getting, because I have been studying with these cards that I've been working with, and you know what, so many amazing messages have come through with them, so I'm gonna use them and just always remember, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And always remember that this is for entertainment only. It's a 1 out of a million, sometimes a needle in a haystack. You never know if it's really going to add up or not because of how events line up in your life. But like I said, take it or leave it. Okay, we got the 6th house. With Pluto, okay. And Sagittarius. Ooh, okay, let's get, I want to say, because I'm pretty sure, I crumpled this all up. Whoopsie. Oh, okay, I thought the 6th house was Gemini. But no, that's the 3rd house. I was way off. Okay, so we got Virgo. Virgo energy in the 6th house. That's your work environment, how you take care of yourself. And then with the 9th house here with Temperance, Sagittarian energy, I'm kind of getting this feeling. And now I can't fight this feeling anymore. Maybe you're going to get drawn to do something, perhaps. And it's this feeling that you can't fight anymore. Pluto is power, death, and transformation. That's Scorpion energy. And I am feeling the energy of Scorpio in this because of this Virgo Sagittarius. It's like, you might have been taught your whole life, like, the way that you work with other people is to dominate them, to tell them what to do. And because you were so powerful, you tend to just do that. You tend to empower a room. And now maybe you're learning how to deal with that, not giving everybody your power all the time, not giving it up to people all the time, right? Because that's a part of, like, especially, people that you work with, it might be hard to get along with some of the people that you work with. And then you could be a little bit almost like schizophrenic. So you can hear them almost kind of like saying stuff to you, like, I wish they would just give me this and I wish they would give me that. So you start to, like, actually physically, start giving pieces of yourself away. And it's like, I know for myself personally, when I'm not wanted at a place, and when I'm not wanted at a place of business, I will hear the staff start telling me that I'm not wanted there. And my sign is, I start to get the sign that I want to quit. And it's because I know that the people around me are not working with me, right? And I know that I haven't been taught properly how to work with people. So I've had to learn over the years how to work well with people and how to sometimes just let people dominate the situation just to get them to calm down, right? And then rationalize the situation later on. I know that sometimes you have to kind of bite the bullet with people that you're working with because you have to see them every day. So now it's like learning, I almost feel like learning how to also not give too much of yourself away, right? I'm learning try not to do things that you don't want to do, right? Because if you don't want to do something and you're like dead set on it and it's not going to affect you in any way, it's not going to help you grow, it's not going to do shit, then just don't do it. It could be along with a trigger that happened a really long time ago, and that's the reason why you don't like doing stuff like that. And every time that you do it, it reopens up this wound. Why keep opening up a wound when you know, when those people, they try to push you and they're like, well, if you're scared to do something, or if you don't want to do something, that means you should do it. It's like, sometimes, you know, that's abuse, you know, because there's a reason why you don't want to do things, right? There's a reason why you want to do things. There's a reason why you don't want to do things, right? There's always a reason behind the situation. Okay. So we got the Hangman in reverse with his Pluto energy, and then the Knight of Dice. So I think a lot of what I'm getting with this message is, these are the kids, okay, in season 2 that 11 hooks up with, okay, and they are taking down people that are part of Hawkins' facility, okay, the Hawkins lab. So these group of kids, they move around a lot. Okay, because for one, they're homeless kids, okay, and for second, they are breaking the law, okay, they're kind of taking the law into their own hands, so they have to hide. They have to hide themselves. And I feel like, with your power, okay, I think, honestly, I think what this is about is, I think that this is about somebody's mission, okay? And I think what your mission is to go out and find really bad people. And by finding those people, okay, you set the record straight in a lot of ways, right? You find monsters that are hiding. That's, I think, your superpower. And to uncover the monsters that are hiding, and then you move on. So you definitely feel like this is a part of your reading if you have changed places a lot. Okay, if you've moved a lot. Myself, I've moved probably over 30 times through my whole life, like from start to finish. I probably moved about 30 times, because I remember being in my 20s and counting up till then how many times I had moved. And I was already in the 20s, in my 20s. So I've recently kind of slowed down as I've gotten older, but yeah, I've moved over 30 times. So you can imagine if that's your case as well, then I feel like maybe a lot of that was because of work. And I have come to a lot of conclusions in my life that I was moved around for certain reasons, right? And you would have the same. Everybody's not going to be the same, because it isn't the same for everybody, but you would definitely know that this is your energy by the sense of constant movement, okay? Never being able to hang in any type of energy. Okay, let's do the 6th house here. Work and routine. It's weird. We got the King of Pentacles in reverse here with work and routine. With the 10 of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. So I definitely feel like I just heard the word unhinged. And that would be a lot of this Hangman in reverse. Like, I feel as if there was no planting done. Okay. There was nowhere that you've worked long enough. It's a lot of, maybe the moving around was work. Shuffling around from job to job to job, never having a lot of money and being the master at it, right? You never got good enough to it to the end, right? It was always like kind of half-assed, and then you were out of there. And that's a big affirmation there too, with the work that you've had to do. Okay. And then Sagittarius, it's like that Sagittarius energy, you know, like that could be the arrow that's always pointing you in the direction that you have to go. Okay. Oh no, look at this. We got the Fool. Okay. And he's in reverse. And I think a lot of that is, I think a lot of that is a part of possibly your schizophrenia or whatever it is that you're hearing, okay, at work. I think somebody is opening up this door and it's not allowing you to communicate properly. Okay, it's as if somebody has taken your sight away from you, okay, and you can't hear them. So you have to communicate with them, or you have to communicate. Oh my gosh, it's like, you know what I feel like? I feel like it's a possibility that somebody took your cognitive abilities away from you. So you couldn't connect with yourself, your roots, your home, your own voice. It's like somebody was the voice for you, right? Now I'm going back to the original group. I forget what number she was. I think she was number 8, something. And then 11, there's obviously Elle, who's 11. Number 8, she can make people see things. That aren't there, that are illusioned. And that is making me think that this voice in your head was such an illusion. It was, like, when you get that analogy of like the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder, it's like that, but it's not about the angel and the devil. It's about like a witch, it's about like this, like honestly, in this, it would be the Mind Flyer. Oh, see how those cards went? The Mind Flyer. Okay, taking over your mind and controlling you. And so you make these impulsive decisions, okay, because they're not allowing you to connect with yourself, or they weren't allowing you to connect with yourself. There's the Demigorgon almost like being attacked. Okay, everywhere he goes, the lights are going on and off, on and off, on and off. Okay, and with that 3 of strands, and then we've got this 5 of strands here, it's almost like the way that your ancestors had to communicate with you, it almost had to be so violent, and almost had to be so in your face, like, you have to get this, and they would have to slam it in your face because you wouldn't see it, because you're blind to them. And if you're blind to them and you can't see them, and then you've got this other thing in your ear, then you can't hear them. So it's like you're moving around like this. It's like you're moving around in the dark. You can't see anything. You don't know what's going on. Okay. And then all of a sudden they come around and they start flashing their lights around. Then you know that danger is around. And once danger alerts itself to you, then you run away. Okay. Which causes your ship to break. It causes everything that you've been working for to stop. There it is. It starts up the 5. It doesn't get to go to the 10. Right? It just stops at the 5 right there. And then you lose your job. You're out of it. You're done. You were just about to master everything. And now you are starting again. And you have no idea where you're going, because the steps that you were following were to scare you. It wasn't to get you to go anywhere. Like, well, yeah, it was a tactic to get you to go somewhere, but it was all fake. It was all illusioned. Okay. So now we've got the Ace of Spokes, okay, with death. Literally, there's Scorpion energy again right there. So this is Pluto all over this. I'm pretty sure Pluto is doing something right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my sister to look at that, but Pluto is actually doing something physically right now in the atmosphere. So this death is this transformation of this scary energy trying to get you to run all the time, trying to scare you, trying to get you to come to this other place where you can't see anything and you can't hear anything, and they can control you and they shut your communication down, right? It's like almost like you get somewhere, you finally establish the language, you finally establish everything that's going on, and then you're moved. It's like you figure out how to play the game, you figure out how to get friends, and you move. Right? And it's like you might not even be moving towns. This could be moving jobs, moving apartments, moving friends, always thinking that you're getting somewhere. And then all of a sudden you're taking 3 steps back and you're going like, what the fuck just happened? Like, this is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work with people. I'm trying to get these friends. And then suddenly it turns and like I don't know if you all of a sudden think that the ones at work don't like you anymore, right? Because you could see them talking and you think it's about you, but really they're just talking about something that's super sensitive. They don't want anybody to hear it. And they've just been talking to them forever and you're just a new person, but it's got nothing to do with you. But then one person looks at you and you think, oh my God, I got to get out of here. They're already talking about me, right? Because it's like, it's a paranoid schizophrenia, right? It's like your paranoid schizophrenia. And you might not even know it because it's one of those things like it's one commanding officer in your head. And this commanding officer, what they don't understand is that you're going to find out about them because there are going to be people around you that go like, who the fuck is this all of a sudden? Why are you all of a sudden a different person? Why are you all of a sudden trying to control everything? Why are you all of a sudden trying to get me to do all this stuff? I can't see. I don't know what's going on. And you're trying to get me to move. You're trying to get me to go jump somewhere when like I don't know. Right. And those are the worst times to move. Those are the worst times to flip up energy is when you already can't see. It's like being in murky water. Okay, it's already murky. Why would you go swimming around? You got to get the fuck out of there. You can't see. It's murky. You have to wait until the water clears. But they don't want you to wait till the water clears, right? They want you out. And I think that's a lot of situation is to get you out of places so then you don't make money, right? So then they can break what you're doing because you get so good at things that you're doing. And this is what hurts you is that you get into these positions, okay? Somebody tells you can't do it, but you go and you do it anyways. You bust your ass. Then you become almost emotionally attached to it because everything you do is it's a representation of you, whether or not you believe it to be or not. What you choose to do with your time represents who you are. So you do it to the best of your ability. You know that to do it as well as you can. And then you're the top notch, you're the top student, and then you start hearing nobody likes you. And then you leave. And that's what's hurting the situation so much is then you go back and you look on these times of how much fun you had there. And then all of a sudden everything spiraled out of control and then you left. And it's like, but you still have all these memories. And that's what's hurting somebody. That's what somebody wants to stop. Okay, is this energy of in and out, in and out, in and out, right? They don't want to do it anymore. It's too much. It's weighing too much on them to go and then sit back and look at it. Because to be honest, these people are not against you, right? The people don't turn against you. It is a lot of it in your mind, okay? And it could be one person at work who doesn't like you, and they could be talking shit about you, but it doesn't mean that everybody else is listening to them. They're just listening to hear something because it's at work and they want to, you know those people who just don't want to start fights with people. So they just listen and they entertain people, but really they're not really listening. They're not really paying attention. They're just at work and there's really nothing else to do. So they're just choosing to listen. That's what I'm getting. I'm not getting that they're being entertained by it in a sense where they're feeding into it and they're believing that you're this asshole because one person doesn't like you. And I'm going to tell you this, if you're in a room full of 20 people, there's definitely going to be one person in that room that doesn't like you. But don't let that one person out of 20 tell you what to do or make you want to leave. Right? And that's what they want. They want to be so hard on energy with you that you do get up and leave. And that's how they win. And then you leave and it's like you part ways from these people. Okay, Two of Swords, you part ways from these people, and then you're like, wait a second, I actually really like these people. Like when Barb dies, right? Nancy's just like, okay, well, go home, Barb, because now she's hanging out with these really cool people, and they don't really like Barb, so she tells Barb to go home all by herself, and Barb dies. And then afterwards, she feels like an asshole. Well, yeah, you should. You sent your friend out when there was a Demogorgon in the neighborhood. Okay, fucking hate her. Look at, she's actually, this is so lined up. She's actually she's sitting right beside him. And in the show, he's right behind her like this. And then he eats her. Okay, he takes her. It's like, that's what ends up happening. You get taken. You get taken. And it's just so fast. And, before you know it, you're already somewhere else, starting again new. Okay? And it happens so much that you kind of just learn to live it up as soon as possible, right? Like anywhere that you start, anywhere that you go, it's like you always bring your fondest memories with you. You always bring the delight. You're always the sun in the room. You're the person that when you're in a situation that you enjoy, you really enjoy it. And some people don't understand that because they're just living to live, to survive. That's it. It's like pay their bills, make sure their kids are fed, and then they go to sleep, right? Some people are living and they're just robotic. There's nothing really inside of them. And then there's these other people that are getting bullied by those robotic people, right? And then they don't know what to do. And in every situation, they're still just as beautiful and just as hopeful and as innocent as ever, because that's what you bring to the situation. Why wouldn't you? You've got one life to live. Why be angry about it, right? But then they use that. Well, you can start new. You won't be angry about it, so you go. When you know that one person out of 20, maybe they should go if they've got such a problem. Because then all those other 20 people miss out on hanging out with you, right? 8 of Spokes, because then you're gone. You park it and you're gone. And then they don't know where you are. They're like just following the dust of your tracks and the memories of you, right? Let's see. Yeah. It might be confusing to be in the dark all the time about how powerful you really are and how people are really drawn to you. It's like you dim yourself because it becomes so confusing as to why you're always kind of off by yourself. And no one's really with you, but it's because I don't think really people understand you. So they try to get to know you. They try to understand you. And that's confusing. So then you bolt. So I do feel like somebody's got a lot of like PTSD on they don't know what it feels like to be loved. They don't know what it's like to have people actually want to be around them. That's confusing to them. Right? They almost think, well, okay, once you hang out with me, you're not going to want to be around me anymore. Right? Like, and a lot of people do want to eat you. A lot of people do want to take you. They do want you to change. They do want you to be angry. They don't want you to be as happy and as mellow and as down to earth as you are, because they're not. They don't understand how the fuck you could do it. But it's, what I was thinking too, I was talking to my sister about it yesterday, and I was like, I don't know why people choose to have kids so young. Like their lives are barely starting, and it's like they don't give their life the benefit of the doubt that children will come when they're ready. When you're ready, when your life is settled and you've got some money and you're established in this world. My cousin was so quick to have children that, she was knocked up at like 18, saying that she was a big girl and she was a mom and that she could do this. And I was like, nobody is doubting the fact that you can be a mother, but like, wouldn't you want to establish yourself a little bit more? Like, she was barely even out of college. She was barely working. And then all of a sudden she's a mother, and then COVID hits, and then now her son has to stay home from the daycare she works at. Well, then she can't go home with her kid because she's got to stay at work, but had she had just maybe waited 10 years and, once COVID hit, she could have just picked up the $2,000 like everybody else did and just chilled out in her apartment with her boyfriend and smoked weed the whole time, and still she had to establish herself. She had to quickly use her superpowers of being a woman and being fertile and acting on that right away, making that their daily routine, and then not really knowing how to work with these children because their parents didn't really work with them, hence why they're pregnant at 16. Anybody whose daughter gets pregnant at 16 that really wants it, there's an issue there. Okay, because sure, your 16-year-old could be having sex, no doubt about it. But to want to be a mother for the rest of their lives, they ain't thinking clearly about that. They're not thinking about losing their 20s. They're not thinking about being broke because they think they're going to have mommy and daddy for the rest of their life, when they don't realize as soon as that kid pops out, they're mommy. And that changes the equation. Okay, grandma doesn't clean up and pay for all the bills. Mom does. Dad does. Grandma and grandpa are there to enjoy it. Right? People take advantage of their parents. They take advantage of their grandparents. They take advantage of people around them because they did things when they weren't supposed to. And you know what I realized? One of my friends physically stole a child from me. Like I'm not going to say, but people have abilities to do things. And somehow she managed to get a husband, have a kid, and get a house. And I'm pretty sure she used some of my magic to do so. And I know it was fake because she and her sister were trying to plan to have 2 girls at the same time. So then they could have what me and my sister had, because me and my sister have been super close. And my friend at the time, who had the same name as my sister, wanted that bond with her kid and her sister's kid. And guess what? She ended up having a boy and her sister had a girl. And I was physically thinking about these people yesterday because they even moved to the town that I lived in. Fucking started stalking me basically. And, to get this kid that they wanted to use all my magic to get this kid. And I was like, it was so in vain that if you choose and you go and you steal something from somebody, like the seed to create a child, guess what? It's going to come out the opposite way that you want it because you stole something and you didn't wait for the right time. Right? So you have this ability to temper yourself because you are so strong and you have so much power that people actually physically want you to change and give them your power and then go back to that weak energy that has nothing. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? But I think for the most part, you did give them your power because you didn't know what friendship was, because what people were telling you friendship was stealing from you. Well, friends are allowed to steal. Friends are allowed to lie because they're your friend. And you're like, oh, okay. No. Absolutely not. Sorry, I was just checking on something. Oh, this is a really fascinating energy. I'm going to pull one more deck. The Horror Oracle is calling my name right now. So I'm going to see if anything comes out with this that's more of the message that I haven't said already. Let's see. One card out. Illness. You might have really weird illnesses. Okay? And it's because of people sucking your power away from you. When they suck, I almost feel like you're that type of energy where people can put their illnesses on you and then they walk away scotch-free. They walk away healthy and free as a bird. And now all of a sudden you have the ability to fight it off. So you do, but it takes something out of you. Now I'm getting The Conjuring, when they're talking about, whatever the fuck her name is, the psychic in that, Ed and I want to say Renee, but it's not. Ed and Lorraine. Okay, so when Ed always talks about Lorraine, he tells people, he lets people know that Lorraine is going to help you. She's going to do everything that she can do, but you have to understand that this is going to take a toll on her. She's going to get sick after this for a bit, and she's going to have to try to put herself back together, and she will. But because she's willing to do it for people, but just know that this does something to her every time, because when you have gifts, they also become curses. And they help other people, and they can destroy your life. Okay? Where you begin to be trapped while others around you are free. Okay? And then missing out on things. Okay? Because if you think about it, actually, these two cards are almost kind of awesome to go together, because in Cujo, okay, the husband is calling. See the call in reverse? Okay, calling and calling and calling, because he knows his wife took the car up there to get fixed. And he can't get a hold of them because he doesn't realize that the woman just won the lottery and took her family out and left. But they left Cujo there. But they didn't know that Cujo had been bitten and just ate his caretaker. So no one's answering the phone, and the husband can't get a hold of her. So it's like, okay, and then Children of the Night, you know what I'm getting is, it was like a frenzy with you all the time, right? It was a frenzy. It was like every time you got into that car and they know you wouldn't get the call, they made it a night for you to remember. Like, you got possessed, everybody took everything away from you, and then you woke up with nothing and you missed the call. Yeah. And I mean, don't be surprised if, like, you don't drink alcohol anymore. You don't engage in alternate universes. Okay, so you don't mess around with Molly or MDMA and all that shit that will turn your projection into another dimension. Especially alcohol, you go into another dimension, people's eyes go black, they turn into other things. And I bet you don't do that anymore, because you realized how much you missed out by doing that. Because once you get into an alternate state, you're now trapped, and everybody around you circles you and eats you alive, and then leaves you to pick up the pieces in the morning. And that's what they told you was like a friendship. Right? That's what they told you were there to do. And it became your daily routine to just fill up all your friends and then go home and recharge your batteries. Because it was easy for you, because you had a lot of energy. You had a lot of power. Right? So, let this be known. We got one card. Look at this. Cat was sitting on the bottom, and it's almost like, you know who you are. You know where you come from. You know that you are the energy of death. I think you know that you come from a long line of people who have these missions to destroy other people and transition them. Right? So this work that you had to do, and what these people convinced you that work was, okay, is now like, they can't put you in an alternate state anymore, which means no one's getting anything out of you, which means the cycle is done. The vicious, most notorious cycle of your life is now done. And the thing is you've been really optimistic about this, because I feel like you knew that you had a sense of purpose, and that one day you were going to be able to grow and expand into a life that you always imagined would happen. But it's these chains that have been holding you back, right? By people using your energy to control you. So it's like a spontaneous collection of power being harnessed back into you. So, congratulations with that. I think the whole spontaneous movements now are going to be lit up for you, as opposed to throwing you out into the dirt, throwing you out into the blackness, throwing you out into something. And really, they're the ones who pushed you over the edge. But no, they're the ones that pushed you to the edge and you jumped over. And then they said, well, see, she's the one who jumped over. We just walked her to the edge. Well, it's also like, at that point, giving a gun to a child loaded, cocked, ready to go with no safety on, right? Like, you can't always blame the child when they're put in the most endangering situation. right? So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. I hope it resonated. And if you'd like a personal reading, it's whitneymoonshine@gmail.com. If not, just enjoy the channel, obviously. And thanks for watching. And always remember, this isn't for everybody. This is just a general message. It's not personal, so if it doesn't resonate with you, always wait for the next one. All right. See you later. Peace out and take care. Word up.